Hello, and welcome to the Electronic Envelopes Budget Spreadsheet. The purpose of this video is to serve as a tutorial that will show you how to use the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is free of charge and includes no warranties, express or implied, because I'm just a guy who needed a budget spreadsheet that would work for me. And I thought it might be helpful for others as well. So if you like it, please share it. The first tab is the Instructions tab. Please RTFM. The Instructions tab outlines 3 steps for utilizing the spreadsheet. Step 1 talks about the Expenses tab. Step 2 talks about the Income tab. And Step 3 talks about the Electronic Envelopes tab. So let's get started with the Expenses tab. The Expenses tab is where you build out the list of things you spend money on. Group like things into categories, but be descriptive with the names so you remember what's in them. Then make a short name for each category that will be used in the Electronic Envelopes tab. Figure out or make a reasonable guess how much you spend on each category of expenditures. Write that number down across from the category title. If it's a weekly expense, put it in the weekly column. If it's a quarterly expense, put it in the quarterly column. The spreadsheet will standardize your expenses to a monthly total. I chose monthly as the standard because most bills seem to be monthly. Make sure to include a savings category to soak up any excess income that you might have. I know. However, it is strongly encouraged to save at least 10% of your income and use that to acquire income-producing assets if you ever want to become wealthy. Yeah, I read The Richest Man in Babylon, and it still inspires me. So here we have the first column in the Expenses tab, which is your category titles. Here you have the short names, and then let's go ahead and fill out a few of these budget items with the expenses. So let's say for automotive, we spend $50 a week in automotive. So type $50 there, and automatically it says that you spend a little over $200 a month because there's a little over 4 weeks in a month. And let's say for subscriptions, you spend, let's go with $20 a year. There it says that it's going to be about $1.67 a month. Eating out, let's say you spend $45 a week eating out. And trash, let's say trash is quarterly, $90 a quarter. And groceries, we're going to be spending about $200 a week on groceries. These are just example numbers. Obviously, everybody's going to have different numbers here, and everybody's going to have different expense categories as well. And in fact, here I have, these are only example categories. Change and make these your own, be descriptive. So this is how this is going to work. So we're just going to, I'm just going to put in some numbers. Miscellaneous, let's say you have $100 of miscellaneous a month, and utilities is going to be monthly. Let's say that's $200 a month in utilities. Personal items, say $40 a week. Health insurance, I don't even know, health insurance. Let's go with $400 a month. I'm going to leave taxes empty right now, but savings, let's say we have $200 a month in savings. Car insurance, that's semi-annually. Let's say it's $500 a month, or it's $500 semi-annually for 6 months. And auto payment, let's go with $300 for your auto payment. Okay, so here we have, I'm just, for example, monthly amount of $2,772. Okay, so right now we have not yet filled out the income tab. So the income, this income number right here, comes from the income tab right here. And we haven't filled that out yet. So because our monthly expense exceeds our monthly income, the over budget indicator light has come on, telling us that we are $2,772.25 over budget. Don't worry about that. You're going to fill out the income tab here in a minute. Okay, so let's move on to step 2, the income tab. The income tab is very much like the expenses tab, except it's your income. So you're going to look at the first column here, income, the ways you make money, and these are just examples. So let's say that you make $20 a week washing cars, and let's say you make, let's see, you work at Starbucks and they pay you twice a month, and they pay you $400 twice a month, and just being awesome about quarterly. Let's say you make $100 a quarter, being awesome, and your day job, you get paid bi-weekly at your day job, and you make about let's see, $1,000 every 2 weeks, and then you work at the Cine 3 popcorn sales, and maybe you make $50 a week at that, and you get an annual bonus of $500, and you do house sitting for the Warburgs on a semi-annual basis when they go on vacation, and let's say they pay you $200 to do that, and let's say you actually counterfeit $3 bills once a month. All right, so there's your income. These are just examples, obviously. So a monthly standardized income is now $3,390.83. See, quarterly, $100 quarterly ends up being about $33 a month, whereas a weekly income of 20 standardizes up to a little over $80 a month. So now if you go back to the expenses tab, you'll see that your income is there, the over budget indicator is off, and now what you can do is you can increase your savings, or whatever. You can increase whatever budget item to fill out the rest of your income. So let's do savings, and let's see, it looks like I can do about $300 more in savings. Let's do $500 a month, and oh no, do another. So there's 800. We're just going to use up this income and savings. So we do another $18 a month. Let's do 18 more in subscriptions, just for example. All right. And anyway, so if your income is greater than your monthly expenses, that's great. They don't have to match exactly, but you definitely don't want to be having this over budget indicator light on. So make sure that light's off, and you should be good to go. Now let's take a look at the electronic envelopes tab. All right. So you notice that all your envelopes are still empty. You're thinking, well, I just filled out all my expenses and all my income, so why aren't these electronic envelopes filled out? The reason they're not filled out yet is because you haven't had any paydays yet. So let's see. I'll get back to the script here. The electronic envelopes budget spreadsheet is named after the old-fashioned tried and true method of budgeting cash, that is to say, cash envelopes. The electronic envelope tab is roughly analogous to taking your paycheck and divvying it up across multiple budget item envelopes, electronic envelopes. So first in this tab, you'll see that there's the date. So this is the date, and there's 3 years on this spreadsheet, and then once that 3 years is up, you'll have to move on to another spreadsheet. The next column is a payday. So when you get paid, let's say that you got paid on the 1st of January, which nobody ever does because it's a holiday, but let's say you got paid on the 1st of January, then what happens is there you're funding your envelopes. Okay, so these envelopes are funded. All right, if you record your paycheck in the payday column, it will spread those funds across all the budget items according to the percentage of your budget each item commands. So let's go back for a second to the expenses tab. You see that each of these numbers is your monthly standardized expense for this category. Now, if you take this number and you divide it by the total budget, you get a percentage. So essentially what you're saying is this item gets a certain percentage of the budget. This item gets a certain percentage of budget. That is how the electronic envelopes are filled out. If you put your paycheck in the payday column, then it divvies it up across the envelopes. And now you know that in car stuff envelope, there's $64. In the subscriptions envelope, there's $5.80. If, however, you just take an income source, let's say that you got, let's say you sold something on Facebook Marketplace, right? And you sold it for $20. Well, maybe one of these envelopes you feel like needs some extra money, so you could put that $20 in that envelope. There you go. So now that envelope has an extra 20 bucks, right? So when you put the money in an individual envelope, it doesn't divvy it up across the rest of the envelopes. It just keeps it in that envelope. However, if you get paid, let's see, you put $500 there, it divvies up across all the envelopes. But the important thing here is that when you actually make an expense, that you record that expense. I spent $25 on fuzzy dice. Now I only have $71 left in my car stuff envelope. And let's say I bought myself a pair of shoes. Now I only have $17 left in my personal envelope. You see, and so all of these envelopes, they total up to be this bank total. Okay, so and you see that makes sense because so far you've spent $85. You've deposited $1,500, so you have $1,435. Oh, and you added 20. There you go. All right, so it does work out. So, all right, so this is how you do it. And let's see, we go to groceries. Where's groceries here? Food. There it is. You're in grocery shopping and you spend $250. Always record your shopping, your expenditures as a negative number. It turns red to show you that it was negative. If you happen to make a mistake and you, let's say you pay your utility bill, oh yeah, I paid $50 for my utilities, it'll turn green and you funded your envelope. That's not what you want to happen. So if it turns green when you're writing expense, you know you did it wrong, you got to put in negative 50. There you go. Oh, and there's one more thing that you can do, which is that let's say that you, for some reason, you came up and you know, the trash bill was due. You just started this budget. You had to have 90 bucks to pay trash, right? Oh no, I had to pay 90. Now look what happened. My trash envelope is in debt. My trash envelope. So what I can do is I can take funds from another one, right? I can go negative 90 and then 90. See, I can move that money from savings into trash. Well, not from savings to trash, but you know what I mean, to pay the trash. So that's how I can essentially move a $20 bill from one envelope to another envelope. You can do the same thing. You just put a negative number in the from envelope and a positive number in the to envelope. And that's how you can move some funds from one envelope to another. Anyway, if you continue to record all of your expenses and record your paychecks, then it'll keep up with you. And you'll be able to see how much money you have in each envelope to spend. So that's it. Make sure to record your income and your outgo, and hopefully the spreadsheet will be somewhat helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.